it makes sense when we think about how the nervous system works too, because the nervous system is always trying to heal the body. So it's always on alert for something that's wrong. It's part of the kind of the primitive brain. It doesn't have a lot of nuance. And so it's just like, oh my God, there's something there. I need to do something. And then we act around that.
Yes. Yeah. And I love the way you say that, because it's just like the primitive brain just reacts. It's just like,
yeah,
it doesn't only have a solution. It doesn't have any solutions.
Yeah.
It's just that there's something terribly wrong.
Right. Which is good for us to know that there's something terribly wrong. It's just that what do we do then?
What do we do then?
Yeah.
And then the mammalian brain, or the part of the brain that produces the emotions and the psychological, traumatic sort of themes in our life, that can start to come up then around that physical sensation and build stories, content, beliefs that actually can make the pain, sometimes can make the pain better, for sure, but can also make the pain worse, because it adds to the preoccupation with the pain. So it's not just now that you have a constant chronic pain, you have a constant story that the pain means this.
Or we don't know if it's going to get worse too.
Right. And we think it, and the story is that it's going to get worse, or I'm not, or what if that's, yeah.
This last weekend we had a hurricane in Nova Scotia, and I noticed that was something was going on in my mind too. It was like the winds were building up, and then we got into the eye of the hurricane, but we didn't know how much worse it was going to get. And as it turned out, it wasn't stronger on the back end. It was stronger on the front end, but you don't know. And that's part of the fear, is we don't know what's going to happen, and we want to prepare for the worst. And, how do we do that? And still, we really need to have a lot of awareness and clarity in our mind to stay present and not follow that catastrophic thinking.
Yeah. And, I got to share something too. There's a flip side of this. There's a nuanced flip side of this that I know you'll get, Lynn, which is that as the stories in the mind, the mental chatter around pain or injury, as that starts to quiet, what happens is there's just more presence. There's more awareness, more present awareness. So it's because the consciousness is being untangled from its stories and its content. And so then what you get left with is the presence with the physical sensation that's there by itself. I don't know where I was going with that, other than to say, I feel like if you're going to work with pain the way that we do it, you would probably start with the stories and the psychological, emotional stuff that's been built around the sensation. Somebody just work with that first. What deficiency stories are connected to the injury? Is it like I'm broken, or I'll never get better? I mean, working with those psychological stories and then getting down to just the bare sensation of pain. I think that's the important part.
Hello, this is Lynn Fraser with the Kiloby Center Radical Recovery Summit. We are so excited to bring you the lineup for January 10th to 19th, 2020. Go to radicalrecoverysummit.com to see the new headliners for 2020 and to sign up. You can watch free January 10th to 19th or buy an all-access pass.